in 1 year time, I snatched this. And this is coming from a DYEL, guys. There's a lot more to this.
Anyways, I started blasting. Come on. There you go. Nice. Hey. Let's go. Hey. I love this thing. Got these grooves that it locks into. Okay, and then when you tighten it, you can cinch it up so goddamn tight.
Go! Go! Good.
There we go. Yeah, oh yeah. Anyways, I started blasting. Bang. Yup. All right, so Adam and I just have to try harder. So we're gonna do it again.
In weightlifting, we like to use cues. Zach's cue here is just to blast it all the way through. Never stop the blast. It's a full blast here. Let's see if you can do it.
Let's go.
That's a blast right there, baby. That's
Yeah!
Come on.
Oh, you weren't blasting at any stage there.
No, that was just empty and pathetic. Don't
Yep.
post that on the video.
Blast on off floor, blast off hips, and then blast into space.
Okay.
Yeah! Hey! Absolutely melt the bar off the floor. Hey!
There we go.
That wasn't that. No. That was that. No, that wasn't blasted. Like that was pretty slow. I thought you were gonna go hard in each phase of the pull. Yeah, Jesus. There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Stop this volume, bro.
Nice.
Hey!
Boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
Come on!
There we go.
Oh my God.
Come on now.
What a guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to today's discussion. I hope you guys liked that little training session I had before. I want to try and do that a little bit more often, show my training, and then get to the stuff that we want to talk about. I'm currently getting in better and better shape, trying to get stronger. It's nice having Dylan here. It's nice having Adam, us three together. I want to record it, show you guys. Hopefully it motivates you. But let's talk about one of the current greats, Liu Xiaojun. If you don't know, Liu Xiaojun is one of the most decorated current weightlifters around. And we thought that he might retire after this past Olympics in Tokyo, but he announced that he will be training for Paris. Whether he gets selected for that team or not, that's to be decided. But I'm just going to put it this way. His recent videos that he put out of him training, he looks like a DYEL. And this is coming from a DYEL, guys. This is just a discussion here, okay? Hear me out before everyone goes crazy, because there's a lot more to this. When you reach an elite level, and not just any elite level, like near GOAT status, as Liu Xiaojun has, when you're at his age, when you have that much of a training age, okay, some of you watching this, he has been training for the Olympics or in the Olympics longer than you've been alive. Okay, this will be his 4th Olympics, 16 years, longer than that because he's trained before that. Let's say 2 decades of specifically Olympic weightlifting. Now, when you get to that level, it becomes less about like general, GPP work into hypertrophy work, into strength work, into specific work. And it becomes more about getting fit again. Okay. Liu Xiaojun doesn't have to increase his total. He just has to put himself in a position where he might be able to increase his total, but really just being at his best. Now, how possible it will be for him to be at his absolute best at his age, I'm not so sure about that. But this is one of those periods where he has gone completely out of shape. This is not unheard of. If you guys look at Ilyin, okay, my man went from an absolute dominant force in the London Olympics to becoming what we now know as the fridge. Then he came back and had one of the most epic training cycles ever. I think, honestly, the most epic training cycle ever recorded on film and posted to YouTube. There's nothing that even touches 2014 and 2015 Ilya. Okay, this is the guy who did a clean and squat jerk at 245 kilos. This is the guy who, would pace around the gym and do block snatches at over 200 kilos. He would take, tons of different waves of snatch attempts and singles, and this guy was going crazy. So there was a period of time when Ilyin and Dmitry Klokov, they were doing seminar tours throughout America. And Ilya, I believe, had just competed at London. And Max Ada said when Dmitry Klokov was doing 190 kilos thruster, Ilya says to Max, he says, in 1 year time, I snatched this. And guess what? 1 year later, boy is snatching 190. This was a guy who was, he was moving really well, but he was clean and jerking 150 at the time because he was just out of shape. He wasn't fit. He wasn't fit for the sport. Now, that's Liu Xiaojun right now. If you compare Liu Xiaojun to when he's at his best, his physique, and you compare it to what it is now, it is not even close. And it's really stark. And for those of you who aren't used to the weightlifting and how it works, this has happened before and this is happening now. And I completely understand your shock and seeing this. But what you can expect is Liu Xiaojun to very slowly but surely return to some form, okay? Whether it's peak form, whether he's snatching over 170 in training all the time and clean and jerking over 200 in training, I don't know. I don't know how long that's going to take, but let me tell you, this man is not done. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get out of shape and then back into shape, okay? So look at this video of him doing 150 by 3. This is a guy who has repeatedly back squatted 300 kilos, who's overhead squatted from the blocks like 220 kilos. Okay. He's not where he was, but he could get there again. I think people just commonly don't understand training phases and cycles and all of that because they just want to be entertained. And that's understandable. Clarence Kennedy, he came to visit me and we did a bunch of training, and he wasn't in Clarence Kennedy shape. He really wasn't. And he continuously talked about his frustration with the people on the internet who just didn't understand that you cannot be at peak form all the time. That's the point. Peak, valley, peak, valley. This is how nature works. You don't just sustain peak performance. You might have periods where you're very strong, and then you have periods where you're not so strong. But it doesn't matter because you build back up and down and up and down. And the coolest thing is getting out of shape, coming back into shape, and then maybe potentially giving yourself the chance to do something that you haven't done before. That's what weightlifting training is all about. Now, for a lot of people out there, a lot of you, if you're on your weightlifting journey, you are probably along the lines from beginner to intermediate, maybe touching on advanced. Okay? It is these stark cyclical changes are not going to be obvious for you. In fact, they're not even, what we would consider a smart thing to do. Not, I hate the word optimal because training for optimal, whatever. You might not have this stark change. And maybe when you're like out of shape, you can still come close to snatching what you normally snatch and clean and jerking what you normally clean and jerk. But understand, in order for Lu Xiaojun to snatch near 170 and clean and jerk over 200 kilos, like the amount of work and effort that he has to put in to be at that level is far beyond what you could ever conceive doing to yourself. Okay, so don't align how you train to how the pros train and how you take different cycles of training and so on and so forth. Now look, we can talk about drugs, but it's kind of the same thing. Okay, if you're peaking for a meet, you find your way of cycling your drugs, and this is, by the way, this is for the elite, and we can not assume, but we can speculate that they take drugs. Lu Xiaojun being one of those guys, Ilyin being one of those guys, and we know that he did because he got popped. Lu Xiaojun has never been popped. Does that mean he's clean? Probably not. Okay, but the drugs fit into this as well. It becomes a little bit easier of a process to cycle off of drugs, stop training, or just train light and just move around, have fun, enjoy life. Come back to training, then hop on the drugs at the same time. Your recovery becomes faster. That process of building up your fitness goes a lot faster and it feels a lot better. That's probably something that is occurring with Lu Xiaojun as well. Now, this is just me talking straight up. Whether you think it's irresponsible for me to talk about drug use without any sort of filter, that's totally okay. I totally understand that. You can be a huge Lu Xiaojun fan and you can say, oh, you can't talk about drugs with him and not talk about whatever. We are specifically talking about Lu Xiaojun here, and I'm just going to be open and honest about how I feel about these things. And here's the deal, right? It's not... And I think Seb from Weightlifting House put this very, very well. When he covers the sport, when we look at covering the athletes in the sport, it is not our job to uphold the standard for clean and dirty. It is the job of the IWF. And if they don't do their job, all we can do is look at the athletes who are performing well and talk about them. Yes, we can speculate on drug use, but speculation does nothing for anyone. I'm simply laying out why Lu Xiaojun might look DYEL to everyone out there who wants to see our boy Lu looking absolutely yoked, back squatting 300, overhead squatting from blocks 220 kilos, and so on and so forth. I am explaining that to you guys. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.